In life's darkest hour, there is light and life. There is help and power in the Spirit of the Lord.
Our reading today is from Psalm 121. Which should be familiar to a lot of us. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore.
Last Sunday, we heard, the parable. It's allergies, I promise, just allergies. We heard the parable of stardust and dirt, a story about how God, in their infinite love, created us from stardust and dirt and filled us with the breath of divine love. And then when we turned away from God, God decided to take on the form of stardust and dirt himself, so that we would truly understand the depth of God's love for us. And so during this season of Lent, I'll be sharing parables. Parables that I hope will bring us into a closer relationship with God, with the infinite love God has as we make our way to the cross of Calvary. As I mentioned with the kids during the children's time, the psalm today is called the Psalm of Ascent. If you look at most Bibles, there will be a superscription above the actual text of the psalm that says a song of ascent. And what a song of ascent is a ritual song that people would sing on their way up to Jerusalem. And they would go on 4 mandated pilgrimages throughout the year. And all the people would gather to the temple in Jerusalem. And this is one of the songs that they would sing together on their journey. And so this morning, I'd like us to enter into our sanctified imaginations as we hear the parable of the journey. Let us pray. Holy Spirit, do thy will. Do thy will, O Holy Spirit. Come and fill this place with your love. Come and breathe your life into us, so that we leave this place transformed, ready to listen to your calling. In this preaching moment, O God, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable to your purposes of grace. O God, our rock, and without a doubt, our Redeemer. The sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon. The first radiant rays of red and orange sneaking over the crowns of the mountains in the distance. Tufts of red hair poking up over the rocks. And little Avi could hear his father beginning to stir. little too loud yawn, the rustling of the blankets, and the tube that made little Avi start giggling. "Abba," he said through the giggles. And Abba looked at his little boy and got up and stalked over to him, his eyes unreadable. He raised his hand to the boy, and Avi looked at him uncertain of how to respond. He only made a passing comment at his father's mourning, and just as that thought crossed his mind, his father's hand came swinging down, and flinching, Avi closed his eyes and began laughing uncontrollably as Abba's fingers found their target right on the sternum and started tickling and tickling and tickling. And Avi was laughing and laughing so hard the strange noises started coming out of his other end. And then Abba stopped, and he looked at his boy and said, "Now we're even." And that familiar spark was in his father's eye. The two of them embraced in a hug that was of the Creator embracing the cosmos. It sent the joy from Abba into Avi, and they both smiled. "Well, boy, better wake up your sister. I'll get him up. We've got a big day today. As soon as we're up and packed, we will begin our journey to Jerusalem. The Passover is coming, and we want to be there in time." "Yes, Abba," Avi said. And he went and started shaking his sister Hannah's leg. Hannah, named after the mother of Samuel, that great prophet. He shook her foot, and she kicked her younger brother in the nose. But undeterred though, Avi grabbed her foot and started stroking the bottom of it, and her legs began to kick uncontrollably. Avi held on for dear life. "Hannah, it's time to get up," he said. And she put her hands over her head and burying her face in her pillow, "Get off me," she screamed into the dirt floor. "Abba says we've got to go and you've got to get up," Avi said. "Abba," Hannah shouted, "tell him to leave me alone." "Avi, that's enough," came Ema's voice. "Yes, Ema. Get up now, both of you, and let's go get things ready." And they did. Hannah and Avi began packing what they would need for the journey. By distance, the journey from Jerusalem to Jericho isn't that long. It's about 16 miles, about a day's walk. But because of the 5,000-foot incline, it would take a little bit more. You're going from 2,500 feet below sea level to 2,500 feet above sea level. So it was a rough road, a dangerous road. They remembered last year when they went on their first pilgrimage to the Holy Temple. The ascent took a toll on their little bodies. And the rough red rocks that looked like blood covering everything. They remember that at one point, almost instantly, the air went from dry and dusty like in Jericho to wet and humid like in Jerusalem. And it sucked their breath away. They also remember seeing places where stones had been laid for those who couldn't complete the journey, who laid with the ancestors. Some robbers along the road, some succumbing to the desert heat. And Avi and Hannah knew, even as children, that the journey they were on was not an easy one. And so they packed. They packed lightly but smartly, just like Abba and Ema had taught them. And after a quick breakfast of eggs and cheese, the family joined others in the caravan headed to the holy city. They left their town and began the ascent to Jerusalem. Everyone was excited, for this was a holy undertaking. And they were on their way to the place where God called home, and there they would gather, and they would eat, and they would celebrate, and they would remember that the God of their ancestors, the God of Abraham and Sarah, of Moses and Miriam, was their God. They would remember the story of how God rescued God's people from the hand of slavery and brought them into the promised land. They would celebrate with the joy, the liberation of their people, knowing that God is God, and it is because of God's steadfast love that they are free. And the journey starts easy and fun, but soon the grade gets steeper, and the jubilant energy of the morning gives way to the lethargy of the afternoon. The sun in the spring sky mocking them, bearing down on them the heat, even though it's spring, is oppressive. Luckily, as they head up to the holy city, they start to see more and more trees along the way, giving them some shade for their rest. But even so, the rest only postpones the inevitable, the return to the road. And as Avi climbs, his mind begins to wonder, begins to remember. He remembers the stones of the dead along the road. He remembers hearing about how his Abba had been beaten and left for dead on the side of the road, beaten to the edge of death, when somebody stopped to help him, to heal him, to anoint his body with oil and linens. This was many years ago, before Avi was born. His father had been left for dead on the side of the road, and yet here is his father today, leading this caravan of people, leading them as they sing their songs. If I lift my eyes to the hills, from where will my help come? His father sings, and the crowd responds, my help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. And Avi's heard this song so many times that it's become tiresome and rote. Where was that help, Abba? The little boy thinks, when you were beaten and left for dead on the side of the road. Where was that help when these people covered by stones were left to rot in the summer sun? Where is your help, Abba, when the garden won't grow and the rains don't fall? These questions are burning inside the 8-year-old mind, and they replace the recent memories of joy and laughing, and suddenly serious Avi refuses to sing. He refuses to join the chorus that celebrates the faithfulness of God when he knows too many people get hurt, too many lives are left hanging in the wind. Avi is a smart boy, and he knows and he sees that people hurt, and he asks, what kind of God would allow that? What kind of God would allow that? The Lord is your keeper, the song continues from the front. The Lord is your shade, it says, and Avi, a cloud covering his face, silently walks along. It's not that he's lost his faith. It's just that he has to ask. Ask with the honesty of an 8-year-old. Why are people hurting? Why do they suffer? Why are families threatened and sometimes torn apart? He asks about his friend who died too young, whose mother is lost in the shadow of sickness. He remembers his baby brother, the one buried just outside the city walls, the one who was hoped for and came not quite ready. And tears begin to pour down the boy's cheeks. He's too young to know such suffering, to have experienced the trauma of too much death. And his heart hurts. And in this crowd, he feels so alone. Known by many, known by everybody in the city, but barely seen. He misses the brother he never knew, longs for the games they would have played, the jokes they would have pulled on Hannah. He hurts for the pain his father experienced and the tears his mother shed. Avi sees his sister playing with her friends, and even she, the joyful child, has a cloud covering her since the baby. His young heart is broken. And he looks ahead. He looks to the hills, and all he sees are mountains. Mountains where the enemy hides and can ambush. How can Abba sing such a song? How can these people who struggle with so much respond? This train of thought is broken by a little hand finding its way into his. Little Levi. Little Levi, the quiet boy who lives down the dust road from them, grabs Avi's hand and holds on to it. Levi, about 4 years old, doesn't talk. He has outbursts that are so bad that it makes his mother cry. He doesn't have any friends because he's so different. Little Levi, who doesn't touch anyone or let anyone touch him, stuck his little hand into Avi's and began to squeeze, holding it like a vice and not letting go. Avi looks down at Levi, but Levi just looks straight ahead, a smile beaming across his face, not noticing Avi's glance. Avi looks forward to see if he can see what Levi's seeing. In front of him, ascending the hill, he sees the young men helping the old women. He sees the old men giving instruction to the little girls on where to place their feet on the steep hill so they don't fall. Avi sees his father clearing away any brush that might be in the way of the caravan, and he sees his mother, her breasts still full, feeding a baby while the exhausted mother lays resting in a donkey's cart. And Avi sees his sister teaching songs to the little ones, keeping them occupied so their parents can maneuver safely. He sees friends and strangers talking and singing, some even dancing together as a community, an extended family of love, and something happens within him. The weight that he was carrying, the heaviness starts to go away. He sees people not isolated and alone, but bound together as a community. He sees people caring for each other and caring for him. And Avi looks to the hills, and in front of him he sees his help. He sees the Lord alive in these people, the creator of the cosmos, in the smiles and the tears, in the laughter and the curses. He sees the Lord coming to his aid by day and by night. And in this moment, in these steps along the journey, as chaotic as they might be, God is there. God is there. And God's steadfast love endures forever and ever. Avi looks down at Levi, who looks straight ahead with a smile beaming across his face. The little hand squeezed tighter, and Avi reciprocates. And together the boys walk. They walk to the hills. Amen. For our hymn of response, I invite you to find Great is Thy Faithfulness, blue number 54. The recording I have is only verses 1 and 3, so we're only singing verses 1 and 3 today. So let's stand together and sing our hymn of response. Great is Thy